Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's a late one. It's 9:26 p.m. on Friday, November the 11th, 2023. My name's Dave McRae, coming to you live from the Voice Man Studios in Toronto, Canada. He's Tony Michael in Atlanta, Georgia. And this is episode 195 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. We're talking about the 2003 horror film Wrong Turn tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live! Live! We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 195. 195. Yeah. Woo! Wrong Turn from 2003. Man. Where's my water here? We'll see who tunes in. Maybe nobody will tune in tonight. I don't know. We'll see. It's a late one. Tony, how you doing?
No, I actually I had a lot of people on Facebook when I made the announcement the couple of days ago that we were going to do this either Thursday or Friday. A lot of people really reacted well to it. We're like, I love that movie. I'm like, yeah, it's a really fucking good movie. It's just one of those movies that gets overlooked, and I hadn't even thought about it in a long time. And I had posted something. It was a meme. And it's a horror movie that starts with, leave it with like the first letter of your name. So I said like Amityville Horror because Anthony Michael.
Right.
And then I think it was Wayne Downey who watches us. He said Wrong Turn. I'm like 2003, right? Like, yeah, with Eliza Dushku. I think I said that right.
Is that the woman? And
yeah, that's the girl. It's just
wasn't
the girl.
she like the 13-year-old girl in True Lies?
She was, and she was in Bring It On.
Right.
She's been in a couple stuff, and I'm like, man, yeah, that was actually a real. I just remembered enjoying it. You know what I mean? I was like, that was a really good horror movie that just came out in that time frame when Chainsaw Massacre was being rebooted and whatnot. And I remember like having a good time watching that movie when it came out in 2003.
Yeah, I agree. I watched it just a little while ago in prepping for this show.
Just to be,
I hadn't seen it in a long time. I haven't seen any of the sequels.
Same. I think there's like 6 of them plus a remake.
95 of them or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I watched it, and it's got a charm to it because it is very clearly an early 2000s horror movie.
Oh yeah, you can tell by the style of the dress
Well, not
outfits.
that, but also the filmmaking style as well.
Oh yeah.
And just sort of the shot choices and all that. Like, it looks like an early 2000s horror movie, and which isn't a bad thing. It just it looks a little dated, but it's good. And
it's 20 years this year, 2023. 20 years. Oh,
and it's
I didn't even think of that.
It's good. Like, I wouldn't say it's great, but I'd say it's as far as early 2000s horror movies go, and I might even take, like, I know we could put Texas Chainsaw on there, but Texas Chainsaw is quite a few notches above the quality of like a Wrong Turn. And
that's comparing.
That's apples and oranges, right?
But you can clearly, even when I did some research just to like see where the inspiration came from, because as I was rewatching it this afternoon, I'm like, man, does this have a lot of nods to Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Like certain scenes that happened.
The Hills Have Eyes.
I was going to say that in The Hills Have Eyes. And sure enough, that this is sort of the way that the idea of them making this movie was a hybrid between the two Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Hills Have Eyes movie.
Right.
I mean, it's blatantly obvious, with certain, set designs and certain scenes, the way that the actors, end up in this very rural, desolate area in the West Virginia mountains.
Right.
And then the creepy house that they go walking through when nobody's around and whatnot. And then the crazy, hillbilly family that, ends up showing up. Very much Sawyer, Hewitt-like, if you're pulling from Chainsaw. Forgive me, I don't know the names I don't know the character names from The Hills Have Eyes.
I can't remember.
But, you could definitely see that that's where the inspiration came from this. And I got to tell you, I've been even in Georgia, in the mountains of Georgia. I was, when I first started getting into doing horror pictures, me and my friend Savannah, we were just, it was just very early. Like, I hadn't quite figured out what I wanted to do yet. Wasn't even doing characters. I just knew I wanted to do something. And we went down this, like, dirt road, you know, up in the mountains, man. And it quickly became wrong turn. Like we were seeing shit like if my Jeep breaks down, if my Jeep breaks down, we are in serious trouble. Dude, we found this like creepy little, like, it was a graveyard, but it wasn't like tombstones. All it was just little square, like, blocks or whatever, or cement blocks. That was it. We knew they were graveyard markings and whatnot. It was just like so fucking weird. And I'm like, we need to get the fuck out of here, because I just started thinking, like, you know, you're in the back roads, you're up here, man, it's like wrong turn, you know, central and whatnot. And so I can understand where there's a little bit of originality to that too, because, you know, I think when you start getting out to those next to the woods, fucking crazy shit goes down, man. That like, people just disappear and you never hear from them again.
It's true. It's true. Well, you know what? Like I said, I mean, I haven't seen any of the sequels, so I can't speak to those. But this movie was good. Like for an early 2000s horror movie, I put it on the same level as like the first Jeepers Creepers, you know, or like in terms of like that kind of
Cabin in the Woods that came out around then as well too, give or take. You never saw Cabin in the Woods?
Do you mean Cabin Fever?
No, there's a movie called Cabin in the Woods too, but Cabin Fever is another one.
I thought Cabin in the Woods was 2012 or something, or 2010.
Maybe it was 20. Maybe.
Is that the one where like it ends up being not what, like there's like weird.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like 2012 or something,
was
or
it?
2010 or.
But yeah, Cabin Fever with the kid from Boy Meets World. Sean,
Ride Her Strong. I mean, Rider Strong.
Rider Strong, baby.
Yes, I saw that.
That's a good one too. That's
same type of quality, like same level of like production value quality kind of thing, right?
The early 2000s aesthetic look.
Yeah.
I think you're right on Cabin in the Woods. I think that was 20. I thought it was a little bit closer than that. Yeah. Maybe because maybe one of the Wrong Turn sequels came out around, because they were fucking pumping them sequels out. Like, what the fuck? Maybe they really were.
Yeah, they
like,
were.
Holy shit, man.
But I liked it. I will say, watching it again, and this is, I mean, you know, horror movies do this all the time, but watching it and then how the movie begins with those two, you know, that couple that's rock climbing, I think that I think that opening prologue is actually like completely unnecessary. I think the movie would have even been stronger if you just began with that guy driving down the street. And
in the Mustang.
Yeah, because you don't even need the prologue. Like I don't even know what the point of it was. Like I understand it's to set the stage. Oh, there's something out there, but just let the story unfold with the guy, and we discover that there's something out there. And I think it's stronger without it, because again, you don't reveal anything. You just I don't know. I just was thinking that. I just was like, this prologue, that's not really a prologue. Well, I guess it kind of is. Yeah. But it's kind of. Yeah. And I'm just kind of like, this doesn't really add.
It's like a soft opening that's not really needed. You know what I mean?
Because it's not like any of the characters, like the two characters that died at the beginning, are related to like the people.
Yeah, they have later, there's no weight to their characters.
There's no weight. There's nothing. Right,
you know, they're disposable, you know?
And they're not, it's not like we find out that the guy driving down the street is like the girl's brother who's gone looking for, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing to do with that. There's just this throwaway line on the radio, 2 people went missing the other day. And then he turns off and that's it. And so I get why it's there. It doesn't ruin the movie or anything, but I actually think if you were to remove that first, 5 minutes or so, funny enough, it makes the movie stronger and more suspenseful.
Yeah.
But
I agree. The kills were good. I had no complaints about the kills. I actually forgot about the redhead there at the beginning when she gets the barbed wire in the mouth. That was it's almost kind of like Friday the 13th-esque.
A little bit.
You don't see the guy. You don't see him get killed. Her boyfriend, I would assume it was her boyfriend. He was an off-screen kill. She finds, the earring or the ear on the ground. But just the overall vibe and tone of this. I remember it was when they left the house after the hillbillies came back. And they ended up in the junkyard of cars. Yes. I'm like, man, this is like straight out of Chainsaw Massacre. Because I think the same thing happens, when they try to escape the house or when they are heading to the house, there's a junkyard of cars that the Sawyer or Hewitt family, depending on I think the Hewitt family did. Yeah, there is with the Jessica Biel one.
Right.
She goes through the and finds the old cars there that other families that the Hewitt family had did. That killed or killed them and whatnot. So that was very reminiscent of that when they're going through the junkyard of cars. I'm like, that's straight out of Chainsaw Massacre. But then when they start getting into the kills and hunting them down, that's very Hills Have Eyes. You know what I mean? Like it was just like they really were pulling from both sides of the fence here, while at the same time giving us new innovative characters to the horror. I don't know their names. I just call them the hillbillies.
Well, I mean, why not?
I mean, they're good characters too. I mean, there's 3 of them. It's the first time that you see it in a movie like that. Well, no, I mean, I guess Hills Have Eyes, there's more than one, but like what I mean by that is like with Chainsaw Massacre, we tend to overlook the everybody else who is doing something and focus on Leatherface, right? You know what I mean? Right. So but in this one, there was no like standalone character. The 3 of the villains, each pretty much had their own weight. You know what I mean? There wasn't like, oh, I'm going to the guy with the bow and arrow who fucking Robin Hood, man, with that shit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, seriously, when you think about some of the shots he was making, I'm like, all right.
I think my favorite kill is when the cop.
Oh yeah.
And the guy's like, the people are dead. What does he say? Who's dead?
Who's dead?
Who's dead?
You dead.
Sure. It was a nice cut because obviously the arrow would not. I mean, that's not real time, right? There was a cut, obviously, but it was well done. Yeah. It was well done. Yeah, that was funny. And then I actually like the introduction of the Watchtower. I think that's cool. I think Watchtowers are cool. And when they're utilized correctly, it can be kind of, because you're isolated. Like it's a false sense of security in a lot of ways, because it's like climbing a tree. You climb up the Watchtower and you're up there, and there may be tools and resources up there like flashlights or flares or food or, a CB radio, whatever, but you can't go anywhere. Like, so if the bear or the cougar or the mountain lion or the hillbillies, if they come to the bottom and they just wait, like, where are you going to go? You're safe, but you're not at the same time. And so
it's true.
I like that. I like the introduction of the Watchtower. I thought that was fun. Yeah, I mean, it's a typical early 2000s horror film, and it didn't do like, I'm surprised they made a bunch of, were the sequels all direct to DVD though? Or were they theatrically? This one was theatrically released.
That one was theatrically released right around, actually, it might have been right around the same time Chainsaw Massacre came out, because both films came out in 2003.
Yeah,
that movie's coming up on its 20th, or probably already passed.
This was May 30th. It was released.
Oh, so day after my birthday. All right.
But the budget was $12 million and it grossed $28 million. So I mean, it wasn't.
It's all right for 2003. That's
I mean, it's not a colossal failure, but it's not a huge. No. It's not a film that warrants a fucking franchise. I'll tell you that. So
6.
I'm like they had to be direct to DVD or something.
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. I mean, unless the second one, if any of them went to theaters, maybe the second one, but I highly doubt it. I don't remember seeing a theatrical release for
Wrong Turn. The budget for Wrong Turn 2 was $4 million. So it went down. So you had a $12 million budget for Wrong Turn, and then Wrong Turn 2 had a $4 million.
And I'm going to guess that the budget, a lot of the budget in Wrong Turn, because you did actually have a few actors in there who have gone on to do some other stuff. The guy who gets killed with the bow and arrows, I've seen him in a lot of stuff. Obviously, Eliza, she's the big face of that movie.
Right.
So yeah, once you start going into the sequels, you're not casting a lot of familiar names. But yeah, I agree with you. I was surprised when I looked it up today after I watched the movie. Like, just out of curiosity, I knew there was a couple. I didn't realize there were 6.
Yeah, well, this is why. So
it's like, wait, what?
According to the Wikipedia page for Wrong Turn 2, okay, so the budget for Wrong Turn. Okay, so the budget for Wrong Turn, okay, was what did I say there? It was 12.6 million. That was the budget for Wrong Turn, the first one. It grossed 28.7 million at the box office. It was a theatrically released film. Now you go to Wrong Turn 2. Wrong Turn 2, I believe, was a straight to DVD because it says here it had a budget of 4 million. So they cut the budget in more than half because it wasn't a success at the box office. The first one wasn't anything special. So in order to do a sequel, they cut the budget in half, but it grossed 9.2 million in home video sales. So
there's your answer.
Wrong Turn 2 did very well on home video. And apparently it got good reviews. I'm like, okay, so let's go over to Wrong Turn 3 while we're at it. We might as well, because Tony and I are not going to be reviewing or talking about the whole fucking series. So let's just go through this right now. Wrong Turn 3, Left for Dead is, I would imagine, yes, another direct to video. It had a $2 million budget. So they cut it to half from the second one. Had a $2 million budget and grossed 5.9 million in home sales. So, I mean,
there's your answer. If they're getting a profit on home sales, so clearly there's
a huge profit, but it's a little bit. Yeah.
Clearly there's a fan base.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's obviously a fan base enough for them to make somewhat of a profit on this. Although
it's not if they did make anything, it's very small, but it's enough to warrant
to keep going for 6 movies.
Yeah.
I had no clue that they even remade it a couple years ago.
I thought it was a semi sequel, but maybe you're right.
Was it a sequel?
I thought it was like a Halloween 18 kind of thing, like a semi reboot sequel kind of thing. I thought it was, but maybe I'm wrong. Hang on, we'll get to it. So Wrong Turn 4, Bloody Beginnings, was a 2011 film, which was also straight to DVD.
I will say this about the franchise: they come up with really cool names for their sequels. It's like that's like a throwback to old school horror.
It's true. It had a $2 million budget. So again, the same as the third one. And it was released straight to DVD, it looks like, or whatever. And it grossed 3.6 million in home video sales. So we've gone down. So not quite. We had a $2 million budget for part 3, over nearly $6 million in video sales. Now we're doing part 4, same budget, but now we're down to 3.6 million. So we're kind of losing some traction. But then there was a 2012 film called Wrong Turn 5, Bloodlines. And that was also a straight to DVD film, I believe, and its budget was 1.5 million. So between the first
and this new Wrong Turn on the one that came out in 2021, it's got a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and 61% audience score.
Yeah, apparently it's the best one since the first one. I haven't seen it.
I am gonna need to go watch it.
We'll have to watch it. But get this.
I am.
So between the first movie had a $12.6 million budget. Nearly 10 years later in 2012 with the fifth movie, it has a $1.5 million budget. So they've really, cut that thing in half. And then the 2014 movie, which was Wrong Turn 6, which was a straight to DVD and digital sort of thing. Its budget was only $1 million. And it grossed 1 million in home video sales. So that wouldn't have broken even. So you go from the 2003 film with a budget of 12.6 million and $28 million at the box office to the sixth movie 11 years later with only a $1 million budget. So you've cut it like by 90 something percent and you've only grossed $1 million. So that's why you didn't see anything until Wrong Turn in 2021, which was it's directed by the film being a reboot, is the 7th installment of the Wrong Turn film series. I don't know, a reboot. Maybe it is a reboot. Maybe it is sort of a full kind of remake. Maybe you're right, Tony. But it had a budget. It doesn't say what the budget is, but it only grossed 4.8 million at the box office. Might have had a limited release. Anyway, fascinating stuff, isn't it?
No, I hate the financial aspects of movies. I do. It's like one ear out the other. I don't really care what a movie does. I just think that it's crazy that this movie, that when
Well,
you
I
look at
just,
when you watch the first one, you're like, they made 5 more of these. Okay.
I
Like, you know, like,
look,
like,
I absolutely agree with what you're saying. I just mean as like a footnote, it's interesting to see,
oh
wow,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the fall, right? Where you have this and this, and then you go to the very last one. It's like, wow, like, you know, they had like $12 million in the first movie and only $1 million on the, you know, the sixth movie. You know what I mean? It's like, wow,
Sure.
what a contrast that is. But,
And I guess, and I wonder, when did Chainsaw Massacre come out in '03?
oh, uh, feels like it would be like a November film, but I'm not
Probably.
sure. I'm not sure. Let me check.
Because I'm wondering why the movie. I do remember seeing that movie in theaters.
It came out October 17th. So it
Okay,
just had its
so
20th
it's not like it
anniversary.
was competing with Chainsaw Massacre.
No,
So
not at
I'm
all.
wondering why it didn't do the first one, why it didn't do as well. I just remember going to see it, and I remember leaving the theaters with a couple of my buddies here in Atlanta, the guys I worked with at the radio station, because we got tickets to go comped.
Yeah.
And I just remember going like, that was actually an enjoyable horror movie. Like, I had fun with it. Like, and even rewatching it today, I was like, this is a really good, like, it's not like the greatest horror movie of all time, but it's a
No.
fun horror movie. You know what I mean? It's one that doesn't get talked about. Like I said earlier, it's got a very cool, it's got an interesting twist on a premise that we're already familiar with in horror, with Chainsaw
Right.
Massacre and Hills Have Eyes, but bringing it more into like the hillbilly territory, like, the backwoods of the West Virginia,
Yeah.
and the actors were great in it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's not a performer in there that I can be like, well, it was just, no, like everybody, like even the girl who played Carly, man, she was annoying me, but I think that's what was, intended, like for her character to be just that annoying character. Like, your boyfriend just dies, you're crying, and next thing you know, you're laughing and joking around. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
went from one extreme to the next. I'm like, okay, you're that character in the movie. Like the isolation part of the film where they go up into the watchtower, I thought that was a really creative idea, because at the same
Same.
time, you're thinking to yourself, like, why would you isolate yourself like this with these 3 men coming after you? You know what I mean? Like, you're in the back hills of West Virginia. You're going to put yourself up basically on a deserted island with these 3 guys. It's essentially what a watchtower is.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant
because
earlier.
you have no escape from this, from when they go up there. So I was like, why would they do that? But again, I get it. Survival, the first aid, because he had to get, get his leg checked and whatnot. And they had the CB radio. I think it was CB radio. Yeah. No, not CB radio. What do you call those? CB radio is the truck. I'm thinking CB radio. I'm thinking of which we should talk about one day Joyride with Paul Walker. That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's not CB radio, but anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mentioned earlier, was that it's like I said that it's I get why they went up there. It's a false sense of security because you are safer. It's like climbing that tree, right? You are safer, but you have nowhere to go, and all they have to do is just circle around the bottom. And so
that's it, or light it on fire,
Yeah, exactly, which would have been interesting too. And then, we don't really know much about the hillbillies. I don't think you need to. I mean, they're just mountain men, and
mountain men, explains itself. I mean, obviously I think they're going with the whole incestual thing, based on their appearance and looks, and I've seen some documentaries done on that. So that's very obvious that's where they're pulling ideas from. I think ideas. That's such a northern thing to say, man. Come on, man. No, that's a northern thing.
Oh,
ideas.
Northern thing. Yeah. Ideas.
Yeah. Say ideas. Yeah. But like, it's so over enunciated. It happens from time to time. I'll say things like, from the North where it's over enunciated, or drop certain things. We'll drop our R's, or, like say, instead of saying Hartford, we'll say Hartford,
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, I've seen documentaries on that. I mean, it's legit shit too. You know what I mean? Like there are, I'm not saying there's people like, you know, like the hillbillies in this movie that are out there fucking killing people that trespass on their land, at least as far as I know.
Yeah.
But the incestual side of it and how these people look, that's a very real thing. So clearly that's where they were pulling some ideas from. I
Yeah.
said it right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, there's always, you know, we've seen a lot of those films where, you know, a group of teenagers or a couple, you know, they drive out into the middle of nowhere and then something happens. You know, it's another movie we should talk about on here at some point too, is that I think it came out around the same time. Actually, it might have been maybe 2006 or five. It was somewhere in there, is that movie with, Kate Beckinsale and not Owen Wilson, but Luke Wilson, Vacancy.
Never even heard of it.
Never even heard of that? Has the chat room heard of that film? I think it's Kate Beckinsale, if I'm not mistaken. Chat room, let me know. Vacancy, Kate Beckinsale, Luke Wilson, 2006, 2005. Is that right? I think you'd really like it, Tony. I think you would. I would. It's about a hotel and they go there at night and, well, I won't, you know, it's good. It's creepy fucking shit. And I remember when I watched it, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. 2006, Cody Snyder says, I believe. Yeah. I liked it a lot. So I would check it out. I think you would enjoy it.
Vacancy. I will do that.
Yeah. And I think it's Kate Beckinsale, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, there's a few gems from that early time, you know, from the early 2000s, and you know, you know, you see it, like the idea of going out into the middle of nowhere, coming into contact with somebody or seeing something. I mean, that's what Jeepers Creepers was, right? You know, they're out in the middle of nowhere, they see something, what the fuck's going on, they go to investigate, and then shit hits the fan. You know, The Hills Have Eyes remake, the 2006 film, The Hills Have Eyes, is a really good remake.
It is.
It rivals that original. It's a really good remake. That's one we could always talk about too.
Sure.
But yeah, any sort of final thoughts on Wrong Turn before we see what's going on in the chat room?
No, again, not to repeat myself, but yeah, I enjoyed rewatching it again, and it was fun. It's a good movie. I thought everything was good. I mean, you know, it's not an original idea, but it sort of had some originality to it with its characters. Yeah, it was a fun time.
For sure. I agree. If you're watching after the fact, let Tony and I know in the comment section what you think of Wrong Turn from 2003. You can tell us about the series too, you know, what you think of the series too, but let us know. All right, let's head over to the chat room and see what all of you are saying. 3 super chats came in, so let me quickly get these. Cody says 2007. Okay, thank you. That's for Vacancy. Thank you. Nighttime sends in $5, says, have you seen Just Before Dawn? It's definitely the 1980s version of Wrong Turn. They even have a scene where a girl climbs the tree like in Wrong Turn. I haven't seen Just Before Dawn. Have you, Tony?
No, it sounds I'm looking it up right now. It sounds familiar.
I'd be down.
You're Just Before Dawn.
Josh McKenna sends in $9.99. Thank you, Josh, and says, are either of you fans of Britney Spears? Have you heard of her new book about her traumatic past? Well, you know, when somebody says, are you a fan of Britney Spears? I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a fan in terms of like collect her music or, go to a concert or, wear the t-shirt, but I don't dislike Britney Spears. There's a few, I mean, obviously she came up when I was in college and, I mean, her music was played all over the place, right. In the bars and, Hit Me Baby One More Time and all that stuff was big at that time. And so, yeah, I mean, her music is that poppy, fun dance kind of music for sure. I don't have any, she's cool. She's cool. I have no issues with her. But she has had a hell of a life. That is for certain, for sure. No doubt about that.
Sorry, I'm listening. I was just screenshotting that movie. I guess you can watch it on Prime. I'm going to try to see if I can find it somewhere else. What about her?
Britney Spears. You a fan of Britney Spears?
Not really.
No.
I mean,
Well, I get it.
I could lie and be like, yeah, sure, but no, not really.
No. Well, that's what I mean. It depends what you mean by fan, right? Like, I mean, I'm not like going to a concert or anything like that, but I don't mind her. You know, there's a couple of songs that are all right. I mean, she came, like I said, she came up when we were in college, and
I mean, yeah, like when I was working at the radio station, we had to play her music, obviously, because you know she was the in thing at the time. But
she was.
Thankfully, we have a volume button in the radio station booth, and just turn that shit down.
I don't mind it. I don't mind a lot of her songs, actually.
Well, why are we talking about Britney? What happened?
It was a question.
How did we get
somebody?
Here?
Josh McKenna
someone asked if we were a fan. Oh,
just
if we were
ask if we've heard of
we
her
liked
new
her music.
Asked if we heard of her new book about her traumatic past, and I have heard of this book, and she has had quite the she has had a very difficult upbringing, as a lot of these stars do. So yeah. Josh McKenna sends in $9.99 again and says, what do you think of the 1933 King Kong? When I was younger, I wasn't into it, but as I've gotten older, I've grown to appreciate it. Yeah, the stop motion animation King Kong.
That's what I was just about to say. You know, I have that over there on VHS. You talk about a movie that's being such ahead of its time for what they accomplished in 1933 with the stop motion animation. Mind-boggling, because again, we're thinking we're so fortunate enough that we live in a day and age now with technology the way that it is, that we're spoiled with it. Yeah. These dudes, man, these dudes were just, what they were doing and creating was so ahead of their time. Oh, yeah. Yet it's still, you know, I mean, Kong is obviously, you know, I'm more, you know, Dave and I have talked about this before. Dave's a big Godzilla fan. I have not watched a lot of the Godzilla movies. Not saying that I'm not a fan of Godzilla, just never was really into Godzilla.
I'm not a fan of the cheesy ones. I like the more serious ones.
Like I am with King Kong, though. King Kong, I'm a big fan of. I have the 33, I have the 77, I have even King Kong Lives, as bad as it is.
Linda Hamilton,
that's right. Jeff Bridges wannabe, you know, that they got for that movie. I forget that guy's name. He's been in a few stuff.
Kind of looks like
it was totally a Jeff Bridges wannabe, you know, trying to pull that kind of same.
Yeah, and he looks
Jeff
like
Bridges is in the 77.
He reminds me of a cross between like Bon Jovi and like.
Right?
Wait, is he the same actor from Children of the Corn?
He might be. No, but Linda Hamilton is.
No. Oh, yeah. No, it wouldn't be. No. Maybe that's who I'm thinking. You're right. You're right.
Linda Hamilton's in Children of the Corn.
Okay. So I'm thinking of the guy. No. I'm thinking of the guy from Children of the Corn. That's why I'm thinking of Linda Hamilton. Yeah. No. Okay. No. Okay. The guy in King Kong Lives is not the same guy. Right.
And then Kong went quiet for a while after King Kong Lives, and then obviously Skull Island. I really enjoyed that movie.
Peter Jackson's King Kong in 05.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I always forget that.
I really like that movie.
I do too. It's just long as fuck.
It's long as fuck, but I don't care, man. That fucking.
I always forget that. I saw that one with my dad in the theater. He really liked it.
Saw it with my mom in the theater. Yeah. I thought it was really good.
I always, for some reason, just always skip over that one. Jack Black, that's right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I have that as well too. And then obviously Skull Island, I really liked, and then excited for the new Kong versus Godzilla movie. I'm interested to see what they do with that. The first one was all right. You know, it wasn't like
my favorite of
films. I think they could have made it more definitive instead of trying to please the fans. You know what I mean? Like they did a good job at pleasing everyone. No one walked out of that theater disappointed if you were a fan of Godzilla or if you're a fan of Kong. You got what you wanted. Both monsters had their moment in the movie. Not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not. No, it's true. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, for sure. Okay, I think that's all the super chats so far. I think anyway. Let me.
You ever been out into the middle of nowhere in Canada in like a back roads, like a Hills Have Eyes, a wrong turn scenario?
Sure, yeah, it's
there's not too many things that scare me in real life. Heights is one of them. Oh my God. Dude, I watched this movie the other day. I swear to you, my hands would not freaking stop.
Was it Fall? This. Was it the one I recommended?
No,
Fall?
It was it was, I somehow stumbled upon this movie. It's not even a scary movie. But it played into a legit fear of mine that I have a legit fear of heights, like bad fear of heights. And I was watching this movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt called The Wire.
Oh,
He's playing Philippe Petit, the guy who did the World Trade Center High Wire Walk. Now, my mind knows it's fake. I know this is CGI. I know Joseph Gordon-Levitt is not on a high wire walking back and forth between the World Trade Centers, because the World Trade Centers obviously were no longer at that point. But dude, my hands could not stop sweating. It felt like it felt legit. The way the way they filmed it, the way, you're seeing it, they did a really good job. I could not get my hands to stop sweating. And I meant to tell that to you the other day in a voicemail. I'm like, this is what's missing in horror movies. It's like I'm watching a movie that's not a horror movie, has nothing to do with horror, but it's tapping into a legit fear of mine. And I cannot get the anxiety down of watching this movie and my hands to stop sweating, because it's because it's the heights, it's the way they shot it, and giving you that visual perspective of, you think that this is really going on with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and he's walking back and forth between the World Trade Center. Like I said, my mind knows this is not real, but I couldn't shake my real fear and anxiety, and it kept playing, on that.
Well,
and that's when I started thinking, I was like, man, if only horror movies could do that to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And tap into real fears. You know what I mean? Like the only time that can happen to me in a horror movie now, what was I watching here recently? Oh, I'm rewatching the television series Supernatural, and I came upon an episode where the character Dean ends up in a coffin in a confined space, because my other fear is being in a tight space. I hate that.
Right,
claustrophobia. Oh yeah, I freak the fuck out. That's another fear. So it's like, man, I wish horror movies, instead of just relying on like typical like the scares, tap into more people's legit fears to make it, more entertaining.
Tony's ultimate horror movie would be a guy trapped in a coffin hanging off a cliff.
Yeah, exactly. That would be it. Like I would be like, freak the fuck out. Like, oh my God, this is the greatest horror movie ever.
What do you think of those videos of those guys and girls, although it's mostly guys, those parkour guys that are like, that are on top of like skyscrapers, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? And they're like, I saw this one guy that was in socks. He was in socks, and he's like jumping between like beams like 1,000 feet in the air. Like what sort of chromosome has to be missing from your brain where you, like I can feel my knees getting weak just watching the video. Where you just want to jump from buildings to buildings. Like it's balls of steel, baby. What the hell are you doing? Balls of steel. All it takes is one little. There is no room for error. Like there's like, talk about doing something where there's no room for error. There's no room for error. You fall and you die. You're dead. Like that's it.
You're dead.
It's like literally it is.
And for what? It's not like you're getting paid.
No, exactly. Well, I mean, I guess social media and all that shit.
Monetizing on YouTube, I guess. Yeah.
But here's the thing: is that it's literally. This is the greatest analogy. It's literally like having one life left in Super Mario Brothers. Like there's no room for error. Like you can't, like if you have 3 lives, well, there's room for error because you died, but you come back because you got 2 lives left. It's literally like being on your last life in Super Mario Brothers or any game, but your last life in Super Mario Brothers, there's no room for error. You hit the turtle, you're dead. You fall into a canvas, like, a hole, you're dead. That's it. Boom, 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 boom. Game over. It's over. It's crazy to me watching these people just dangling off. Hey, what's going on? And it's happening here in Toronto too. I've seen videos where I'm like, that's the fucking CN Tower in the background. I mean, nobody's hanging off the CN Tower because that's you can't really do that. But the other
but Jared Leto the other day, that dude fucking climbed the Empire State Building.
Yeah, well, he climbed I don't think it was the whole building. I think
he climbed the whole motherfucking building because I thought to the fucking tippy, like like including the antenna.
I thought it was just the antenna part that he was climbing.
No, this dude climbed the whole damn building. What the fuck?
But he was also
promoting a tour
and strapped in, I think too, right? He had like
still.
I know. No, I know.
Oh, you know what?
What about those free climbers that climb skyscrapers with the chalk?
I was just about to say the other movie that I just watched here not too long ago, and again, same thing. I could not stop sweating because of the fear. Was that guy that did the wall there at Yosemite, the free solo guy? He climbed up, and the angles that they shot that film of him climbing that thing. Yeah. I think it's El Capitan is I think that's what he climbed. I think it's what it's called. I could be wrong, but I'm somewhere. I'm in the ballpark of it. I couldn't, dude. Like I was sweating watching it because of just the angles and everything. I'm like, this is just gonna fall. I'm freaking out. I'm not even there. I'm literally sitting in a chair. My feet are touching the ground, and I'm still having fucking panic attacks. But the point is, like, that's what horror movies are missing. Like that's what I want to feel in a horror movie. Can you honestly sit there and tell me that a horror movie got your anxiety so jacked up that your hands were sweating?
Yeah.
It's never happened to me.
No, it's true. It's true. No, you're right. I mean, for some people, I guess if they're just deathly afraid of anything scary.
Sure.
Perhaps.
No, I get that. But I mean, it's because you and I are so, we've been so saturated with horror movies growing up, watching them, I mean, my God, dude, we were watching Nightmare on Elm Street when we were 6 years old,
true.
So it's like,
True.
I mean, like, at that point, our innocence was gone. We both of us fell in love with the genre, and that was it. But
it's funny. I had both my stepdad and my stepmom hated the fact that I watched horror movies, but my mom and my dad were fine with it. Isn't that weird?
My parents were never cool on it. They thought I was a weird kid, and now they realize that there's a bunch of weird people like me out there. So
that's true. Well, and like I understand the rationale. I mean, the kid doesn't know anything. I get that, but it is funny to think of what we watched when we were 5 and 6 and 7 years old. And, at that time, I mean, sure, you watch the movies now and they're a little dated with the effects and everything. But at that time, it's not like when you're watching Elm Street in 1984 or 5 or 6, you're looking at it thinking it looks dated. You don't think that at all. It's just what movies looked like at that time. And so, to watch Glenn and the blood get thrown up or Tina on the ceiling and all that, we're just sitting there as, 5 or 6 year olds going, this is great.
I know, right? This is fucking great,
but
man.
Can you
I don't
imagine
want to watch cartoons? I want to watch this.
Can you imagine walking in and seeing your 5-year-old right now watching,
Elm Street?
Yeah, so he's just sitting there, little Bobby just sitting. I mean, it's such a different time.
I was just gonna say it's a different time. You would never see something like that. I mean, not that there aren't parents.
No, there are parents that do it, but
who do watch horror movies with their kids. There are certainly there is, but for the vast majority, it's just different. We live in a different world now where it's parents are extremely protective. Kids have been very sheltered. It is what it is. But I really wish horror movies would do that. I really wish they would think not so much on the the killing scenes or the try to create a contorted person for a supernatural movie. I'll tell you what, it follows when I want that got under my skin because it was just the way the sound design, the way when I first saw it, it was just a very uneasy film to watch. And that was, I believe, was intentionally done, especially when she's seeing what everyone else is not seeing. Right. And you just got this person walking towards you. And then you got that slow, sound that's just gradually building and it's intensifying as the whatever entity, whatever you want to fucking call them, get closer and closer. Yeah. It didn't scare me like, someone being 1,000 feet up in the air or whatever, but it got under my skin. Like it was disturbing, like that was,
the first It Follows was good. It was good. I
don't know what they're going to do with the sequel here, but we'll see.
I don't know. That's going to be a show coming up soon, but I like the first It Follows. It was good. It was good.
And I wish that's what I wish horror movies would really focus in on.
It's funny because there's what works so well in that movie is the first It Follows is that it is there's how am I going to say it? So there's aesthetically watching the movie overall, and I don't just mean there's a number of factors that play into the eeriness of that movie. And it's not just the stuff that you would expect, like, the suspense and that, like, and then she thinks she sees something, and then that big tall guy that enters the room behind her and all that, like, who passed away, actually, I think shortly after that movie was made. Like, all that is great. And that's all important too. But there's little things that you wouldn't think that add to just the eeriness of almost feels like you don't know what world you're in. And that is the ingenious way or the ingenious decision to set it in a nondescript time period. Because everything looks 80s in that movie, except everybody's got cell phones. And
the girl is reading from looks like, what do you call it? A birth control, like, I don't know. She's reading from a thing that looks like that a girl would use for like have a thing for birth control, but it's actually like a book, like she's reading something, Exactly. That's where I'm like, okay, so we're somewhat in current times because
yes, but there's that plays into the eeriness.
But the cars are like from the 80s,
right? Well, right? And you go into the house and the furniture is from the 80s, and everything that plays, even if you don't realize it consciously, that plays into just the feeling of the movie. It feels
right. It's like technology advanced, but decor didn't.
It's almost an equivalent to when you look at it's almost like an uncanny valley in some ways. Like when you look at you look at a person or a robot and they look human but they're not, or like AI, right? Like how there's all these AI generated images and you'll see like an AI generated images of a person and it's eerie to look at them because they look human. Right. But there's an alien. I don't mean alien like men from Mars, but it's foreign. It's eerie. There's an eeriness to the look, or there's an eeriness to somebody's look, or like when certain robots, just Google uncanny valley and you'll see it's like, well, they look human, but there's something off. There's something not quite right with this, and that's what the uncanny. And so it follows to set it in a time period that looks 80s, but yet it's not I know it might not seem important, but for me watching it, not knowing where I was, I didn't know where I was. I didn't know when I was. I didn't know how I was. I didn't know how to relate to the setting of this film. It adds to the overall sort of weirdness of the film.
Oh yeah, and what I loved about that, dude, was like it gave me it gave me an insight to what it would have been like for you and I as kids growing up in the 80s and 90s with the technology of today.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like the first insight to like, oh, so that's what life would have been like.
Right.
Because you also notice too throughout the movie, yes, kids had cell phones, but they weren't like attached to it.
Right.
Either. You know what I mean? So you saw the technology, but there was also the lack of technology. You know, so it's like you said, like you didn't know where and when you were.
See,
but that's what made the movie so good. And like I said, the way it was just a good movie that got under my skin. It wasn't super scary, I wasn't like, scared, but it got under my skin. Like there was a few moments, especially the moment there when she's in her bedroom and that big ass dude just comes creeping on in past her sister.
That's what I said.
And she goes out the fucking window like a bat out of hell. That's a fucking creepy ass scene. It's creepy. 100%. It's just fucking under your skin creepy.
It is.
Or when the mother fucking jumps on top of her son and she's like,
Well, like, Alex Shambach said it right here. He says, yes, Dave, I've always loved that aspect of the movie. You cannot distinguish the time period. It's unworldly and creepy. And I'll go a step further and say almost otherworldly, almost like it's a parallel universe. And it's just eerie to me. It's just eerie. It's like just,
almost our life what would have been like without social media, but having modern technology.
Yeah, there's an uncanny valley to the setting of that picture that I think really plays into the eeriness of the film. And I think if you were to remove that altogether and it became very clear of what time period it was, and it had like a setting of like, like it was very clear. It wasn't, ambiguous or anything. And then the setting becomes less eerie. It feels almost like a dream. Right? Like it's a dream you're having.
Like it's your dream.
Like it's your
dream. Yes.
Right. And that's what's eerie about that picture. Everything is normal, but there's something not right. And again, I know I've said this before, but it goes back to that line from Raiders of the Lost Ark when Indiana Jones at the very beginning, he enters the tomb and, his little buddy there, who is not really his buddy, double crosses him, but he's like, we must hurry. There's nothing to fear here. Right. And Harrison Ford takes him and shoves him up against the wall. And he's like, that's what scares me. And it's just that there's nothing to fear here. Things look normal, but it's eerie. There's something's not right. There's something not right here. And when you watch It Follows, again, there's nothing scary about the setting. It's not like the setting is scary or there's, it's like a Tim Burton film with weird, overlooming, creepy. It's nothing. It looks normal, but there's something off. There's something off with the setting, and it has everything to do with we as human beings psychologically, we can't pinpoint when and where this is. And that for us as humans is uncomfortable.
Is there any other movies like that you can think of?
I'm sure there are. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are. There's a great film actually that I quite like. This isn't quite in the same manner. It's not really a horror film, although it depends on how you describe horror. It's a movie called Another Earth. And it's a drama essentially, but I always found it eerie. And it's about how it stars she was in that short-lived Netflix series called The OA, and which was eerie too. But anyways, it's about this young woman who they get, what is it? I'm gonna butcher it. I don't know if anybody in the chat has seen it. Let me just hang on. Another Earth. Another Earth. It's a 2011 film. And it basically says, on the night of the discovery of a duplicate Earth in the solar system, an ambitious young student and an accomplished composer cross paths in a tragic accident. So there's a tragic accident. There's an A plot and there's a B plot. And the A plot is essentially this young woman who accidentally kills this man's family in like a car accident, and she ends up befriending him and going to work for him. That's like the A plot. And then there's this subplot where all that's happened, but there's this discovery of another Earth, and every time you look up into the sky, this other Earth is getting closer and closer, and it's eerie because and then I think NASA's like holding a contest for people to travel to this other Earth. It's like another you, like maybe like your parents that died here on this Earth are alive on that Earth, or maybe like there's so many what ifs and so many different scenarios, and it's such there's an eerie, it's not a horror necessarily, but there's an eeriness to the film. And then the way the movie ends, I won't say how it ends, but the way it ends, there's a moment where you're like, oh, that would be fucked up. That would be fucked up. That. Yeah, it's good. I liked it. Again, not a horror film, but it's a good eerie. It's a good concept, good drama. I don't know if anybody in the chat's ever seen it, but again, in the same sort of realm as this eeriness. But yeah, that's what's so. You see, when you watch Stranger Things, there's an eeriness, but it's more about the suspense and the vibe. It's very clearly the 80s, and they know it's the 80s, don't shy away from it. But this is weird. It's like, this is what it's like. It totally is like this, and you've done this. I know you've done this in your past. I've done it in my past. It's like when you would go like into abandoned places, right? And you walk in, and they're stuck in a time period, and you walk in, and it's like, wow, this is from. It's eerie. Like there's an eeriness. It could be the most beautiful day. You could have the sun shining in. It's warm summer. You walk into this abandoned home and nobody's lived in it since 1992 or something, right? You know what I mean? And everything in the place, like the furniture looks very 90s. There's an eeriness. There's an eeriness to it.
I did a house here within the last like 2 months out. Nice neighborhood, like gorgeous. House is going to probably, I think it sold for like close to 800,000. It's on a golf course. However, this house, like they hadn't cleaned the cobwebs in the windows clearly for like ever. Okay, so there's cobwebs all over the windows. No electricity in the house. I had none.
Right.
And I got to tell you, as nice as the house was, because there were a few broken windows, cobwebs in the windows, I knew I was in a safe neighborhood. I just was uneasy for me to be in there photographing this. I even told the agent that. I said, did you get any weird vibes in there? She's like, oh my God, I did. I'm like, okay, so it wasn't just me. Like, I felt like once I got to the basement, like some bad shit has gone on down here. It's a feeling. I don't know how to describe it. It's not an abandoned home, but it's empty, but because of the lack of electricity, because you could clearly see that this family did not do anything to maintain this house, which was weird considering the neighborhood they were in. It was like the burbs, right? It's the one house on the street that you're like, damn, like, you know what I mean?
That's a great movie.
Like,
I love that movie.
It is. Oh, I love that movie. Freaking Tom Hanks is hilarious in that shit. That'd be a good one to talk about too.
It would.
Got Tom Hanks, Corey Feldman, and a few others in there as well.
Bruce Dern.
Yeah. So yeah, I get what you're saying. So it doesn't necessarily have to be an abandoned house, but just being in a place where you just get this uneasy, you just unsettling feeling. You can't describe it. Yes, I've had that happen though in abandoned places where I've done photo shoots. Though that's a little different because when we're in there, we're very protected. So like we ain't walking in there without our Second Amendment rights. And we got our flashlights and stuff and we're walking through. Well, yeah, I mean, you have to, because you could have squatters in there. You don't know what you could be facing and what, I mean, that's where people go. I mean, let's be honest. That's where people go do drugs and, shit like that. So, obviously we want to make sure that we're protecting ourselves going in there, that I can protect the girls as well too, from anything bad happening to them. It is what it is, but I get what you're saying with abandoned places.
Well, and it's like, I don't know if you've ever done this, but you can YouTube, videos that have been professionally restored, film that has been professionally restored, that was shot like in San Francisco, on the streets of San Francisco in like 1922, you know what I mean? Or 1905 or 1910, like real old film. And it's been restored. So the frame rate has been, it's not playing back fast. It's been restored at a proper frame rate. Sometimes they've added a bit of color. The color doesn't always match correctly, but they're
getting better with that though. There's some in the last year I've seen they've done a really good job with that.
They have. And I'll sit on the couch, and sometimes I'll do this with my significant other. We'll sit on the couch and we'll watch, and there's a sadness, but there's an eeriness to it, because like what we're doing. I'm sitting on my couch looking at a 5-minute video of somebody filming the streets of New York or San Francisco. It's like 1928.
And these people are dead.
And everybody's dead. Even the babies in the baby carriages in here
would be
are
dead now. Well, there'd be 103.
Not necessarily, but they'd be like 90. If they were born in 1928, they'd be like 199, 876, like 95.
I thought you said 1920.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But to your point, generally speaking, right?
Majority of the people in there are dead.
Most people don't live to 93 or 95. No. So, it's a safe bet that, everybody you're looking at is dead. And what's eerie about it too is that we're so used to seeing old film, whether it's old black and white movies or whatever the case is, very fast, and because of the frame rate, right? Nobody moved that fast. It's because things were shot at a higher frame rate, or at a lower frame rate, played back higher frame rate. Anyways, I always get that mixed up.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
Yeah. And that's why it looks, but they've taken this film and slowed it down so it's the proper frame rate, colored, and it looks so life. It's an era we've never seen look so real, because we're so used to seeing that old footage, like, we're so used to see, it doesn't look real to us. Like, that's almost like what we think of that era was. Well, when you look at, I'm watching this video on YouTube of a family from 1919 or 19, whatever it is. And there they are, and and it's been colored, and they're going,
First of all, I love some of those reactions from people because they're looking at a camera like, wait, what is
yes,
this?
Yes,
you know?
That too.
Right?
They're all looking at it.
What is going on here? Like we're so used to this now.
Yeah.
Like actually, Dave and I experienced, I don't know if you did, but I did growing up. Whenever there was a camera, most people would shy away from it. Like they would just like, if I had a camera walking around school filming friends and whatnot down the hallways, no, get it out of my face. I don't know what to say. That's literally how people, now everyone's like,
oh, I know.
You know what I mean? Like
it's true.
Fucking looking like goons in selfies and
it's
shit.
True. It's true.
You know, like for real, but like not that long ago, before cell phones were able to take really good photos of ourselves.
Yeah.
No one wanted a fucking camera in their face.
No,
people hated that.
No, and
so it's weird to see people react that way, but yet at the same time, that's how people were reacting when you and I were growing up.
Well, of course, and there was, I don't know when it was, but there was one moment I was watching this, and it was a video of I think it was San Francisco, but I'm not quite sure. And it's I think whatever camera this was at that time, I think this is like the late teens, early 1920s or something. And I think, so it would have been a film like, I don't know what, 16? Was it around then? High Super 8? I don't know what. No, it wouldn't have been Super 8. But anyway, it was film, obviously. And a little film camera, and it's on the back of this, either the back or the front of this horse and carriage. And it's just sitting there.
I think I've seen that one. Yeah, I think I've seen that one.
And it's it just plays, and it's like a 10-minute video, and it plays it doesn't cut, doesn't add it, and it just goes down this one street, and you just see kids running across the street. You see the extra paper boys, and they're there, but it's creepy because it's the proper frame rate, and you sit there, and I'm watching this, and I feel like, oh my God.
The closest to time travel you're ever going to get.
I've just time traveled. Right. I've just time traveled. Well, it is literally a form of time travel. Somebody watching us right now, 20 years it's a form of time. You can't literally go there, but it feels so real because it's the proper frame rate, and it doesn't look like a typical black and white film. There's an eeriness to it. It's fascinating.
I think about that from time to time, that people in 100 years from now will be watching it. If you don't delete your YouTube channel, they will be watching us talking about.
They'll be watching it in their minds as they sleep with a chip.
That or whatever it is, however they're doing it. You know what I mean? They're gonna and they'll be like, "Wow, these people were really obsessed with these movies, weren't they?" Because we don't know what the world's gonna be like 100 years from now. We don't know what the how civilization's gonna be interacting with each other. We have no clue. But this stuff here that people are going to be able to look at and pull up from time to time, it's going to be, it's for them, it will be the closest to time travel that they have.
That's right.
Watching all these old YouTube videos made by YouTubers and looking at the chat room and watching everybody chat with each other and whatnot, who, won't be here.
It'll be archaic. It'll be archaic.
Right. Because you're talking 100 years from now, none of us are going to be here in 100 years from now.
No.
So that's the trippy part about it.
Think of this. Here's a mind blower for you. 150 years from now, between now and 150 years. Okay, so between right now and 150 years, we could probably go between now and 120 years. Okay, but between now and 125 years, 8 billion people will die.
And 8 billion people will still be around, if not more.
Right. But isn't that crazy to think? And it's because, listen, generally speaking, I don't think anybody's ever lived to 125. You know what I mean? And if there is, it might be, we don't really have, generally speaking, 99.9% of people are not going to live to 125, let alone to 100 or 105 or 110. So that's crazy to think that between now, in the next 125 years, in the next 130 years, 8 billion people will die. And that's just mortality. That's all it is. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Think of all those deaths in such a short period of time. You know what I mean? Like, it's That's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, no, it was very eerie, and watching that, it's that same sort of, it's that same thing that It Follows has. I can't place it. My human brain wants to place it. It feels uncanny valley. It feels a little otherworldly. It feels like a dream, but yet everything is normal and feels, other than the fact that there's a horror movie and people are following you, of course, but there's nothing like scary about the setting. Like I said, it's not like the setting is scary. It's just the fact that our brains can't pinpoint when and where this is. It feels like we've time traveled, and it's eerie to me. It's I maybe we're the only people that feel that way about that movie, but I personally think that is a big reason why that movie works well and what's so effective about that movie. You don't think of this consciously. You just go, oh, we don't really know when this is, whatever, and you watch the movie and you think all the eerie, scary stuff is what really makes it scary, which is part of it. That's a huge part of it. But I believe It Follows, call me crazy, I believe It Follows would be less scary. Now, how much less scary, I don't know, but I believe it would be less effective, let's say. Less effective if we were able to know when and where we were. And I think the fact that we don't know when and where we are helps. It's very, very eerie indeed. How you doing for time?
I'm good. I like where this is going. This is, we don't get to do shows like this very often.
We don't.
And what I'm planning in the future, that's what me and her were talking about for the podcast that I'm going to be doing with someone else, is that, tap in, talk about horror stuff, but then get into other stuff too, where you're you're not just sitting there for an hour, because it's hard to sit there and talk about a movie for an hour. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so many bullet points you're going to get.
Unless it's Halloween.
I could go the rest of my life without talking about that movie or franchise.
Halloween.
Halloween,
I'm
just saying. I mean, like, what else is there to say about,
By the way, you know what? I might post this online, but I'm sure there's a lot of Halloween fans watching right now. I want to sell this. This was given to me, but I want to sell it because I want it to go to a good home. So if anybody's interested, let me know. I can't
see you. I'm only going to be able to see it on the delay.
Oh, yeah. You will only be able to see it on the delay. But I'm going to sell, I'm looking to sell, there's two things here, actually. I don't know if any Halloween fans out there are interested. This is the Halloween Michael Myers comic book from Chaos Comics. This is a collector's item. This is it right here. This was given to me by Mickey Yablans, so the son of Erwin Yablans. This is a collector's item. Now, you could be asking, well, Dave, don't you want to keep it? I have another one. It's okay. But I have one here that is up for grabs. And I
have that. Well,
do you have that?
Something? Yes, I do. Yes,
you have that? It's a collector's item. Hold on to it.
It is. Oh, yeah.
Depending on the condition, you can go to eBay, and some of these fuckers, depending on the condition, are going for like $300 or $400. Yep. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I won't part ways with mine.
Yeah, I think this is I think this is the first time Michael Myers ever appeared in a comic or something like that, or one of the first times.
Yep.
And so it's really cool, and the condition's fine. I wouldn't say like it's mint, like obviously, but it's excellent condition. I mean, it's not.
My
like
brother,
who's
I told you, he's a comic book collector. Dude,
right?
That dude easily. I keep telling him, like, you need to appraise your shit, because he's got some of the most rarest of rare comics. He got that for me, years ago when it came out.
Well, this is in really good condition. As you can see, there's nothing wrong with it. So I'm looking to sell it for $150, $150 US. And like I said, it was given to me by Mickey Yablans when I went over to his place to have dinner 4 years ago now, I think it was. He had a whole stash of them because he was part of making this comic a reality back in 2001, 2, 3, somewhere in there. Speaking of 2003, it was somewhere around there. So if you're interested in having this, then let me know. Reach out to me with a DM via Facebook or Instagram, and I can get this off to you as soon as tomorrow. I can go up to the post office tomorrow and get it off to you if you're interested. And maybe I might throw in, maybe It's Me, Billy Chapter 1 on Blu-ray. Just saying. Maybe I'll toss that in for you. It's Me, Billy Chapter 1 on Blu-ray. So let me know.
I had someone offer me almost $1,000 for, and I almost parted ways with it, but I decided, like, I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't. Was my Halloween 3 Season of the Witch vinyl soundtrack, because that vinyl is so hard to find. I have the original, like, hold on.
He's going to get it, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to get naked. Here we go. Buck naked, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Michael getting the buck naked nude Halloween 3, the night everybody gets naked. Here we go. Halloween 3, Season of the Nude.
Yeah, I have this bad boy, which you cannot find.
No.
The original label, the original
you
pressing.
yourself got that off eBay or something, right?
No, dude, I had this forever. I got what I got off of eBay was Halloween 5.
Okay.
That's what I got off of eBay, which is kind of a disappointing soundtrack, to be honest with you. No, I've had Halloween 3, Halloween 4, Halloween 2, and Halloween, the originals. I've had these since we were kids. Well, younger anyways.
Right.
And this dude, and the reason why, what makes this even more of a rare vinyl is that this was never, well, the way I got it was because I told you the story. My dad was a DJ, or he still does it, but went to the record shop and whatever, and record places back in the day would get a lot of these records, to play within the store and not sell these ones specifically with the stamp on there at the top that says promotional use only.
Right.
And that's what it says up there. So this never got sold other than to me.
Right.
It was never meant for sale.
That's cool.
Not retail sale. And it was when you, for those who don't know, when a vinyl's back in the day anyways, when it was first pressed, or even CDs, same thing with CDs, because when we were doing CDs on the radio station, we would get the promotional ones only. These record labels haven't distributed the albums yet, or the singles, but we would get that. Same concept, literally same thing. This was never going to be used to be sold in any stores or whatnot. And the guy who knew my father, he hooked me up with it and whatnot. And I had someone wanted almost $1,000. Where I was like, I almost said yes, but I'm like, I can't, because of that reason, because I know how rare that is.
I know what you mean.
Almost cannot find that anywhere.
I know.
I mean, yes, you can get Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, the ones that they sold in the stores and all that stuff, but you're not going to get the ones that were meant for promotional use only.
Right. Yep. By the way, I should quickly just show a bit of the artwork that's in this comic. Look at that right there. Michael Myers.
I haven't looked at shit in a while.
It's great stuff. Dr. Loomis. There's Dr. Loomis and everything. It's fantastic. It's really, really cool. Lot of cool shit in there. So I just wanted to go to a good home. And like I said, it's a collector's item. And there's a lot of them on eBay. I mean, the conditions vary, obviously, but this is good condition. I can show you this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I say good is just a thing. I don't know if it's considered good or excellent or whatever, but it's great. There's no tears, no bends, no nothing. Looks good to me. Let me know, folks. And like I said, I'll toss in an It's Me Billy Chapter 1 on Blu-ray for you as well. Just DM me on Facebook or Instagram. Just say, hey, dude, I'd love to get that. Because like I said, it's a collector's item. They don't make it anymore. They don't sell it anymore. So, you get it for me. And I mean, if you want to sell it in a few years for a lot more, you'll probably be able to do that.
I'll sell this for $100 billion. Billion.
If somebody offered you $5 million for that, would you take it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, $5 million. Yeah.
Tax free.
What's your
At some point, everybody becomes a whore.
It's true.
5 million, I'm a whore.
What's your minimum?
5 million.
5 million is your minimum for that?
5 million. Yeah. But again, it's just, I think if I was offered 5 million, I'd be stupid not to, because but
of course, with $5 million, you could probably find another one.
Well, I don't know if I could find a promotional use one, but I would
Right.
certainly be able to get
With the soundtrack.
I'd be able to get another copy, myself. I wouldn't be able to
That's
get
what's cool about the lottery here in Canada. I know in the States, obviously, you're taxed on it now.
Dude, not only are we taxed, but you're taxed twice. Yeah, you're taxed twice.
Yeah, because there's state tax and federal tax.
No. So first of all, let's just say if you won $10 million in a lotto.
Okay.
Your take home from that is whatever they take taxes out of it initially. Then after that, okay, whatever your take, let's just say 5 million. Well, that's your income from the year. You're taxed on that again that you've already been taxed on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's batshit crazy here in this, like,
well, here in Canada,
where they came up with this shit, it's just like your paycheck. It's like you're already taxed on your paycheck or your income, but yet I go into the store to buy something, I'm going to get taxed on it again.
I know.
Basically, more or
well,
less.
get this. Here in Canada, you are not taxed on Lotto. So if I played, what's the big one here in Canada? I think the big one here in Canada is the Lotto Max, and it can get up to it probably usually hovers around every week. It's probably generally usually about 25 to 35 million, but it's gone as high as like 65 or 70 million. And
nice. Not like a Powerball down here that was recently up to $1 billion.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, we don't have a Powerball here. Well, we have people in Canada that go to the States to buy a Powerball because you can, if you can actually do it. Of course, you'd be taxed. But if I play the Lotto Max here, and let's say it's 70 million, and I win, I get $70 million. I don't get taxed.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Now, of course, the odds of winning are very small, of course. But
I just went into a lottery tax calculator just to show you how fucked up this country is with taxes. $10 million, you win. You take it in a lump sum payout, you're getting $5.2 million.
Still pretty good.
Right. Yeah. You've been taxed. You've lost half of it.
Yeah.
Now for the lump sum payout, you're going to get taxed again on that 5.2 million that you've already been taxed on from the 10 million, and your actual net payout after the federal and state, I did Georgia for example, would be 3 million, which is not bad, $16,668. So from 10 million after your taxes are paid, you're walking away with only 3 million.
Yeah. So you don't win 10 million at all. You win 3 million.
No, that's the most asinine. Like I don't know how.
70%.
I have no idea how we ended up like this as a country with the taxes like this, but something needs to be fucking changed because it's so absurd.
Although I'll tell you right now, if I won $10 million and they taxed the shit out of it and I only got 3, I'd be like, all right.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can definitely, if you're smart, you could live off of 3 million.
If you're smart, you could invest it and you could live off the interest if you were smart. Yeah, for sure. It depends on your lifestyle. Right.
Either that, or I would just do what's it say here for the annuity? The annuity, if you won 10 million and you did it annuity, you would end up this is the difference versus lump sum versus annuity. For those who don't know, is you're paid yearly. Out of they take a small portion of the winnings and they pay you once a year. Yeah. You would get 6.7 million of that, so you're almost getting double the amount.
Wow.
And the payout per year. Net payout, this is after taxes, would be this is after taxes now, because you're getting your gross payment is 150,000, after taxes is 112,000, which actually you could live off of 112,000, and you'd get basically that amount for 30 years.
Yeah, for sure. And if your lifestyle is appropriate, you absolutely could live off that. Alex Shambach says that generally speaking, Canadian taxes are much higher. That is true. Yeah. No, that is true. Our income tax here in Ontario, in the province of Ontario, there's 2 taxes. So there's you guys, for us, there's a provincial tax or a state tax, right? And then there's the federal tax for us, and then it's combined into one. So there's the provincial tax, which is the PST, and then there's the HST or the GST, which is the government sales tax, and then they've combined them into one, which is called HST, which is the harmonized sales tax. And in Ontario, it varies from province to province. It varies from province to province, but with the two together, it's 13%. So if I was to buy, like if I was to go to the store and buy a T-shirt that was $9.99, it would be $9.99 plus 13%. So whatever that is, if I go to buy, a Blu-ray,
they really
player,
they
whatever,
really need
the tax.
What they really need to get rid of is they need to get rid of the federal government entirely. Like just get rid of federal government, which gets rid of federal taxes, and just do everything by the states. Let the states control it. If the state puts a state income tax in there, then the state puts a state income tax in there, and that's it. It's the federal government. We don't even need a federal government. Honestly, we really fucking don't. We really don't. I mean, honestly, what the fuck are they doing? Seriously. I mean, there's no need for it anymore. We don't need it. Like we never needed it to begin with. And you eliminate the federal government, you eliminate so much of that shit that we don't have to fucking deal with anymore. And now you just designate everything down to the states and let the states handle it, and that's it. You're gonna still pay taxes. You're not gonna get rid of taxes entirely because you need to pay for, like property taxes here, pay for, road services, your town fire department and police, all that stuff. Like, there's certain that you're gonna pay, but you're not going to get raped by it either. You know what I mean? And where we're getting raped by it is in the federal government, and just honestly, it's just a bunch of fucking old people up there fighting with each other over dumb shit.
Do you mind if I Hey, Josh McKenna sends in another $9.99 and says, no spoilers, but do Billy and Agnes blackmail Sam for $15,000 in Bitcoin in chapter 2? Oh, God.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny, Josh. Thank you. For those of you who don't know what Josh is talking about, some loser. He tried to pass it off as a joke too. He sends me a private DM and he's like, dude,
I was just trying to be funny.
Oh, well, that's what they all do, right? When you call them out, when you call people out, oh, I'm just joking, man. I'm just fucking joking, dude. Like, come on, bro. I was just joking.
Come on, bro.
Oh yeah. And then he deactivates his Facebook account. So I wouldn't have responded to him anyway, but he deactivates his Facebook account. And then a couple of days later, he reactivates it with a different name and a different profile picture. Loser! He's probably watching right now going, yeah, it was some guy that was like, because of the whole Olivia Hussey thing having to leave the project. And it's so funny. The only people that are outraged about Olivia Hussey leaving the project are people that didn't donate to the fucking campaign anyway. They're being outraged on behalf of, people donated to the campaign. Well, listen, then let the people who donated get angry and get mad if they want to get angry and get mad. But if you haven't fucking donated, shut the fuck up. Be quiet. This is what you're doing. This is what you need to do. Just shut up. Just shut up. I think that's a Ace Ventura thing, isn't it? This is what you're doing. This is what you need to do. But I'm just so like, that, and then he tries to like, just joking, bro. Just joking. I'm fucking joking. $15,000 Bitcoin joking. No, you're not. You're not joking. And he's some guy that was like, he had reached out to me a while ago. Dude, I can't comment on your channel. Like you hid me, man. Dude, listen, if you can't comment on my channel because I've hid you from the channel, there's probably a good fucking reason why I did it. So just be a man and just those are the consequences. Listen, you come onto my channel, you act like, and I'm not talking about disagreeing with me over a movie or, writing a comment and being like, hey, dude, Dave, I don't know, man. I disagree with you on that. I'm not talking about disagreeing. I'm not talking about having a difference of an opinion. I'm talking about being a dick. Being a dick. And if you're going to be a dick, this is my channel and I'm just going to kick you out. This is my channel. If you want to be a dick and talk about how much you think I'm a dick, then start your own YouTube channel and talk about how much you think Dave McCrae is a dick. But as long as you're on my channel, you can't be a dick. It's that simple. So if you can't comment, you were probably a dick at one point, and I just kindly removed you. That's what it's about. Right, Tony?
Absolutely right.
There you go. That's exactly it. Cody Snyder, but Dave. House of Commons recap says, what happened to the guy from Buffalo that used to troll you, Dave? Oh, we don't even want to mention his name, but we know who you're. He watches. He still watches. I'm just going back here. I'm not scratching my ass just because my phone was on my chair. He watches. He still watches from a distance, and he'll pop up every now and then. Like he says, "Well, as I'm still here, I'm your arch nemesis." Like, shut up, get out. This doesn't matter. One of the best things that YouTube ever did was allow creators to put a time, not a time limit, but like a time. What's the word I'm looking for? For new accounts, you can, have people have to be subscribed to your channel for a certain length of time in order to be able to engage and comment. And I think that was one of the best things that YouTube ever did, because it forced people from just creating new accounts, the trolls right away. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know.
So pretty good stuff there. But do you want to say anything about your new venture that you're about to?
Oh, the new podcast that me and my friend Jacqueline. Yeah, I've got a friend, a horror friend. Her name is Jacqueline. She's really hardcore into a lot of this.
Is she watching
stuff
right now?
She might have been earlier. I don't know if she is now.
All right. Well, shout out to Jacqueline.
She said she was going to tune in, and me and her have been chit-chatting here, talking about doing a podcast, maybe piggybacking off of the Two Dude Show. Probably we haven't decided yet if we're going to do like video or if we're just going to do just voice. She does this for a living. Actually, she edits and does all different types of podcasts throughout the world.
Right.
She'll edit them and she'll post them onto each person's respected platform and whatnot. So she does this for a living already, but she's been wanting to get into it. And she's like, it's too late. I'm like, it's never fucking too late. No, don't think that. Like, let's do this. Like, you and I, we got good chemistry with each other. We love talking about horror movies. She loves to dive deep into a lot of the old school horror movies as well too. And she's just all around very cool person. And cool. I was just like, well, I said, I do this with Dave. We're kind of getting back into some consistency again. And
November will be a bit wonky because of Billy, but
because of Billy. But once you're done shooting It's Me, Billy, Chapter 2, we'll be back on a more consistent basis and whatnot. I was like, let's, we could do this as well too on a weekly basis, maybe do a little bit shorter than what Dave and I do, maybe like 30, 45 minutes, keep it very short, tight, and sweet. And that's where we're leaning more a little bit into the voice versus to doing video.
Now, would this be pre-recorded or live?
It'll be pre-recorded. No, it'll be pre-recorded.
Right.
I'm only going to do the live stuff with you.
All right.
So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to do this, as I was telling you the other day, getting back into collaborating with my friends again, doing horror shoots. We just did, I'm going to post it tomorrow. Oh my God, I found this crazy ass abandoned trailer park. So I'm like, I'm going to do a screen
Speaking
photo.
of wrong turn.
Yeah, right. I basically took like the idea of like, what if Rob Zombie was at the helm of Scream and made his own Scream movie? So I created some photos using that inspiration. Oh yeah, there's this one shot, man. I got Ariel fucking tied and gagged, and Ghostface is pulling her by the hair. Oh my God, it's such like not a Scream shot. I'm like, this is so off the deep end right now.
Is this a new photo that you've taken?
Oh yeah, this is gonna be this will be posted tomorrow. Like this is so off the deep end. Like even my father who follows me is gonna send me a text like, you don't think that was a little too much? I'm like, yeah, it probably was, but it looks great.
I can't wait to see it. That's awesome.
So yeah, so I'm doing that. I'm doing the photos again, and then I was like, I could probably do another. I was going to do something on my own, but I like this. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I like
the camaraderie, the back and forth, feeding off of someone. And like I said, me and her, we've got that good banter going on. And I'm like, we can do this. Like, there's no reason why we can't do this. We can just, we'll feel it out. We'll kind of toss some ideas back and forth with each other. And then we'll just
we'll just go and, we'll do it once a week. I'm not going to give the show title name yet, but we've got a show title. I'm just waiting for the graphics to be done on it. It's pretty cool, actually.
It's going to be one dude, one chick, and some bullshit.
Exactly. No. But she's super chill. She's super cool. I like her enthusiasm. She's like really excited about this.
That's
and
good.
I kind of gave her the, like today we talked for a little bit, and I was just like, all right, I got to warn you, when you're doing this, you might get some crazies out there coming your way. It's just kind of part of the nature of all of this. But for the most part, there's a lot of good.
Just tell her to tell them to go crunch one out.
Exactly. But for the most part, there's a lot of good people. She's married though, so she has a wife, and cool wife. I see them doing a lot of horror stuff and whatnot, and posting pictures around Halloween and whatever. I mean, she doesn't sound like the wife is so into it like she is.
Right.
But nonetheless, cool person. So yeah, as it gets closer to launch, like when we're, I'll definitely let Dave know ahead of time, like, hey, can I, the channel is going to go live. Either it's going to be a channel, or we might just do it on like platforms like Spotify or, an Apple podcast, like start doing it there first. If we're just doing vocal, because there's not really a need to do it on YouTube if it's just voice and there's no video to go with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just, so, but we know Spotify and we know, Apple podcast. Those are pretty much the two big ones.
Yep.
Google, it'll cover Google as well too. I believe
people have often asked us if
we would do it. That's where the idea started stemming from.
The only thing is, like, we have 100, well, including this show now, 195. I'd have to rip 100. I could put all our old shit on there, but that's a lot of work. That's 100. I'd have to rip 195 video, like audio from 195 YouTube videos. So I have to download the YouTube videos first and then rip the audio and then, up. It's a lot of work.
Well, and not only are we going to do horror movies, but basically we're going to cover a broad range of horror. We're going to go into true crime, like, serial killers and things like that. She loves that stuff, and very knowledgeable in it as well too. And, so it will all be within the community of horror, but we're going to do movies.
We'll have to make sure we don't cross the streams and
no, but that's why when I said to you, there could be times where I may piggyback off of, like, maybe we're doing a topic one week. Coincidentally, I might be doing a topic with her,
right,
but it's not going to be on YouTube. And it's not going to be video. Inevitably that will cross. Inevitably, me and her will talk about Halloween again, because she's never done that, right? So it'll be a fresh take.
There you go, kids.
So the Halloween podcast talk will be coming. That's why I said that earlier, because I was wondering if she was listening, because I was waiting to get a message from her, like, what do you think we're not going to talk about Halloween?
Call it Tony two times. Tony two times. Remember that?
Tony two times. Yeah, but it's cool. Like, I love doing this. Like she said to me, she's like, you're looking like more and more your old self again, and I love that. I'm like, yeah, I know. So
that's good. That's good. That's good. Super chat comes in from Brandon Morrow, sends in $2.79. He's a fellow Canadian. Says, hey, Dave, how do you become a channel member? Oh, very easy. If you go to the description, the link should be there. And it should, in the description where, all my other links are, is a link to become a channel member there. And there's 2 tiers, and that's how you become a member. So thank you, Brandon, for your interest. Really appreciate that.
Hey, speaking of cross the streams, did you watch the Ghostbusters trailer?
I did watch the Ghostbusters trailer. Ghostbusters, what is it called? Frozen Empire.
Frozen Empire. Empire. Looks good.
I did like it. I did like it. It's a teaser, and I mean, it's a long teaser, but it's essentially a teaser trailer. And I liked it. It's good to see, the old guard back in there again. How much they're going to be in there, I'm not sure. But
with kind of a fresh new, what it reminded me of, because someone mentioned this when I posted the trailer the other day on my Facebook. And it was so true. Now I never really watched a lot of cartoons, and I still don't. I just never was into animated, shows, but I did watch a little bit of that cartoon show growing up when you and I were kids, The Real Ghostbusters. I didn't watch it all the time, but enough to remember the reference when the guy said, this reminded me of the real Ghostbusters. And I'm like, yeah, son of a bitch. It has that feel to it.
Right.
And vibe to it. And it's not going down the same path of Zool again. You know what I mean? Like we kind of went back into that well.
Well, they had to get everybody's trust back.
Right. And I liked the new Ghost Afterlife.
I did too. I really liked it.
I know it's gotten that mix, but I liked it. I did. This has got me pumped. And yeah, like you said, that you got you got Vapin in there, you've got Winston, you got I almost said Egon. Oh man. It's always a bummer when I think of that. Ray. Yeah, Ray. Yeah. And then everyone else from Afterlife. Paul Rudd's got me already laughing.
Yeah. It looks and again, it's a different. So we went from not including obviously the 2016 film, which I actually quite liked. I think it gets.
You did. I know you. Yeah, you did.
I think it gets unnecessary hate.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad, I understand what people were upset about, but the movie itself, I don't think it's a bad movie. Paul Feig is the director. He directed Bridesmaids and Spy with Melissa McCarthy. And those are, those are good movies. The movie's fine. It's just, of
fine.
Course, it's just that it's 4 feet. It's the whole.
I don't even care that it's for ladies. That doesn't bother me. The problem with their version of Ghostbusters is I don't have that desire to go back to watch it. Like I actually watched Afterlife in October, during the month of October. That was one of the, and that movie, it's funny, I will, and maybe it's because it's still new. I've watched that more than I have the original Ghostbusters, but I've seen the original Ghostbusters like a gazillion times. So I think the only reason why I'm watching Afterlife more right now is because it's new. Having said that, Afterlife has a great rewatchability. The original has a great rewatchability. I don't really watch part 2 that much. I got to be honest with you. No, part 2 is like,
I don't either.
I got to be in the mood, but even that, like if I had to choose like my viewing right now of Ghostbusters, it would be the original and Afterlife, and that's it. Yeah,
I agree with you. I'm not I don't hate part 2. I like it enough, but I would rather watch the first one over it.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. So see, it's not just because it's a female. That same feeling you're talking about with Ghostbusters 2 is exactly the same for me. And that's how I feel about the female led one. It's just not one that's like, it's not bad, but I'm like,
exactly. And but you're right. I mean, they've got, they went from Zool to Vigo, and then that was it, right? And then there was the remake, and then they went back to Zool, and so this really is this is only the second time out of there's only been 3 movies.
Third,
really.
This would be the third villain in this world of Ghostbusters.
Correct. So now we have somebody new and somebody different, and I listen. I really did like Afterlife a lot, and I'm looking forward to Frozen Empire. I am. I think it looks good as a teaser.
I could see if this does well, which I think it will. Why are they releasing these movies in like springtime? Why can't they release this shit in October? We need good
Afterlife
movies.
Afterlife was released in the fall, I think.
Yeah, we need good fucking movies like Ghostbusters to be released in the month of. I'm so tired of October getting gypped out of good, fun, horror-esque themed movies. You know what I mean? What did we have last month? We had The Exorcist Believer. I still haven't even seen that.
I still got to see it. Yeah.
That. Well, I think in 2 weeks it comes out on Max.
Sorry, Exorcist. What? I never heard of this movie. Exorcist Believer.
The Believer, Deceiver, Justin Bieber. I don't fucking know. But what I'm saying, we didn't have any. There wasn't any great new movies that came out last month. For us to go to. So I'm just sitting there thinking for Ghostbusters, release that shit in October. Give people something to go to in the month of October during Halloween month. To watch the movie. It's going to do fine. This isn't like back in the day where October's a dead month. No, it'll fucking do great.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let me see here. Hey, Jeff Harris sends in $4.99 and says, "Have you guys seen the trailer for the Iron Claw? It's about the story about the Von Erich wrestling
Erichs,
wrestling family. Zac Efron is jacked. I did watch that trailer, and he is jacked. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the family or anything like that, but you know, the story looks interesting.
The Texas tornado, baby.
Okay.
He was in the golden age of I think Texas tornado. Might have been Carrie Von Erich. Someone correct me in the chat room. I was gonna say Kevin, but I'm almost positive it's Carrie.
Right.
I could be wrong, but yeah, it was a tragic what happened to. Basically, it's like the Kennedy curse. This family, this poor family, what they've had to endure. Very, very, very sad. And my brother liked the Texas tornado during the Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, that late 80s, early 90s run. And the dude had a very promising, it was Kerry. Thank you, Cody. Dude had a very promising start. And then it just, he became the Intercontinental champ. And then it just really fizzled out fast. And again, just, you start hearing about the behind the ring, scene stuff, like it's unfortunate. But yeah, the Zac Efron trailer, that looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
Clearly he went on a nice cycle to get like that.
Yes. And Brandon
Morrow, he was saying his prayers and eating his vitamins as Hogan.
For sure.
No steroids.
He was saying his prayers, eating it. No, he was saying his prayers and injecting his vitamins is what he was doing, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Morrow became a level number 2 member. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate that. You say you're from Ottawa. All right. Well, that's where I grew up. I was born in Toronto, lived the first 10 years of my life here. And then I grew up in Ottawa. I went to high school. I lived in Nepean, is where I lived, and went to Sir Robert Borden High School. So yeah, I know Ottawa very well, obviously. Eddie Chase sends in $9.99 and says, "Yo, this is the girl's name. Yeah, Eliza Dushku.
Yeah, Dushku
is smoking hot. She's arguably the prettiest final girl. Also, loving the 80s horror-style slasher films coming up in Thanksgiving, and it's a wonderful knife. Want to see it. Yeah, I still got to see I got to see the trailer for It's a Wonderful Knife. I got to see that. But Thanksgiving comes out, well, I guess another week or so. Another couple weeks. Nighttime.
Are you going to see Thanksgiving? I may. I don't know.
I won't go see it. No, I'll wait till it comes out on streaming. But and then Nighttime sends in $2, says, "Are you going to see Priscilla, A24's rated R Elvis film?" I would like to see it, actually. Yeah, funny enough, Thanksgiving and Priscilla, Lynn Griffin, who of course stars in the original Black Christmas and will be in It's Me Billy Chapter 2, is in both Thanksgiving and Priscilla.
Nice.
Yes, I would anything Elvis I'm totally down for, obviously, because of, I'm a fan of Elvis. So I would like to see it. Yeah, I would like to see it. I haven't seen it yet, but I would like to see it.
Same. I'll get around to, if I don't see it in theaters, I'll probably see it, when it gets, becomes available on streaming,
Right.
I think I've said that before. I don't go to the movie theaters that often. I really don't.
No, I don't either. Last movie I saw in the theater would have been Barbie.
I'm a Barbie girl.
In a Barbie world, life in plastic. It's fantastic. You can touch my hair.
No, touch my hair. Comb my hair.
Say what you want about that song, whether you like it, dislike it.
It's a great song.
Those fuckers created a hook that just sunk into your
brain.
Song.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
It's a great song, dude. It's a great song. What year was that? 97, 98?
Yeah, it was during that whole run of music that was coming out like that.
Yeah. And you remember the Venga Boys? We like to party.
The party. We'd like to party.
Those two Venga Boys songs were so big.
The only thing I can think of is that song.
I know, you're Six Flags guy, right?
Six Flag guys, man. Six Flags fucking killed me with that shit every year.
I can disassociate from it, but I do understand, especially for the American audience. Yeah, that's where you would definitely what you would think of. But and then there was their other one, Boom Boom Boom. I think it is that boom.
Say boom boom boom. Oh no, I'm thinking of the Out There Brothers. Boom 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 boom. Let me hear you say well.
Yeah, no, not that one. No, I want you in
now.
my
All
room.
this music is played at every sporting arena.
Oh yeah. But the Venga Boys had those two big hits. Yeah, the We Like to Party and the Boom Boom Boom. I want you in my room to spend the night forever, or whatever, however the hell it goes. Yeah, those were they had a whole, they had other songs obviously, but they were huge. They were huge at that time. Everywhere you went, no matter what bar you went to, what restaurant you were in, it was playing all the time. They need to bring that back.
I saw Oppenheimer
The Venga
in the theaters,
Boys.
because I really wanted to see that. So yeah, there's very few movies now that I'll go and see in the theaters.
Right. Yeah. It takes a lot to get me to go see a movie. I really gotta go see. Like, I really gotta be. I gotta go see that. I gotta go fucking see that movie, man. I'm in. And it's rare for me today. Like, I understand that if it's your job, right? If you're like a Cody Leach or a Drum Dums or, even the Wham.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
if you're a movie reviewer,
it's your job.
You got to go see everything. You know what I'm saying? Or if you work in the distribution business, you got to see everything. But for me, I'm and for you, I'm just like, it's got to be something I'm really excited about, And
my problem, I don't know if you have this problem now that you're getting older. I have, dude, when I'm watching a movie or something, even if it like a new movie, like I have the attention span of a 2-year-old. I start drifting off. I really fucking do. Like, I start doing 10 other things. Like, it took me, I shit you not, 3 hours to finish Wrong Turn today, because I would stop it, do something else, go do this, and then just come right back to it. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, it's so, my ADD is like on fucking steroids now as I'm getting older. Like, I just can't sit there for too long watching something without, getting distracted, wanting to do like 10 different fucking things.
It's true. No, I get you. I do. Bobby Hall says, Dave, which would you dislike more as the end of the DGG Halloween trilogy? The Halloween Ends that was released, or another Halloween Kills sequel with cringy dialogue and pacing issues? I would have preferred the Halloween Ends that was released, the one that we got, because as a movie, it's better paced, it has better dialogue, it's a better film overall. I just think this is pointless Michael Myers film.
This is where I wish my family came from, like oil money, where we were like so rich, because I would literally give everybody in the chat room $1,000 if we can go one stream without one Halloween question.
They're allowed.
I would literally bribe you guys one stream.
Hang on.
No Halloween questions.
Hang on. We went the whole stream without one. And I saw one there and I thought, you know what? I'm going to pick Bobby Hall's a great dude. He's a great dude.
I know.
Davey Deathray, what's going on? Davey Deathray says, pumped to be able to check out a pre-screening of Thanksgiving on Tuesday. I think it looks like such a fun throwback to the 80s slasher. I think it has potential. I think there's definitely potential that this could be a nice little sort of, little slasher film. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I hope it's good. I really do. I
never even heard of the other one, the two that was asked us.
It's a Wonderful Knife.
Wonderful Knife. Yeah, I
gotta check. No, I gotta check it out. Dude. I think I'm just gonna go on a Venga Boys kick. I think I'm just gonna buy Venga Boys stuff. I'm gonna decorate my background here.
There's times when I'm mixing music back there, I'll get into that 90s dance music and whatnot that we grew up with.
Dude, your mixes, I miss your Instagram mix fucking channel. That was fucking great.
I gotta, well, if I'll do it on Facebook now.
Yeah. Your mixes were great. Like, some of the shit I was like, dude, I gotta get like a fucking MP3 of this mix or something. Like, it was so good. It's really good.
Fun shit. Yeah, I'll be bringing those back and putting them on Facebook. So.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're winding down here. We've been going an hour and 48 minutes. How you feeling?
Yeah, this was fun. I liked it. This was, this is, I wish we can do more of this stuff where we can talk about a movie for a little bit and then just drift off into whatever the fuck we want.
Well, that's what we normally do.
Well, but sometimes, like, if it's a Halloween topic, we're there for like 2 hours.
No, that's true. That's true. Like, yeah. No, if it's a Halloween topic, it's just
we go into something
Halloween.
else? Like,
I think we should just, well, it's, no, exactly. What the hell is that? Rosalia put evil. Oh, it's a woman. I thought it was a chicken. For some reason, I thought
this is your night. Oh man, that's my jam. That's Amber. This is your night. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun.
that, yeah. Remember the
That's Amber. She's saying, I think it's Amber, right? Yeah, it's Amber because she's the one that sings that song. Remember
Alice
yeah, remember that song?
DJ?
Oh yeah. Do you think you're
Better off alone? Talk to me. Ooh.
when I was really learning how to mix music by the guy who taught me, who like my father basically taught me the basics, and then I started hanging out at the all age dance clubs that we had back home, and like this guy was really he could mix. His name was Rudy C. And he taught me when I was like 15, 16 years old, really how to mix music. And that was the music, man. Alice DJ, Amber, all them, Vanga Boys, Daft Punk,
Brooklyn Bounce. Daft Punk. Yes. Around the world, around the world. That's fun. Yeah.
All that shit. You know, the Bounce or La Bouche, Be My Lover. Be My Lover.
Oh, yes. Be My Lover. Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. What about what's that one? I heard it on the radio just like a month or a couple of months back on the car radio when I was out with my girlfriend. Call him Mr. Raider. Call him Mr. Wrong. I know what I want. I want it now.
All that music sounds identical too, which was the best way to learn. Oh yeah, I mean the great thing about that music, because the beats were pretty much it was easy to learn how to mix. You know what I mean? Because they all sounded pretty much the same. So it was a great foundation. Because believe it or not, hip hop is hard. Hip hop is a lot harder because you really got to know you got to know not only the beat per minute,
your transitions,
but you got to know the transitions and whatnot. With dance music, it's a lot easier. It's different, so it's a lot easier to learn on. I'm not saying it's a lot easier to mix. It's a lot easier to
every
learn.
Dance song's got a bass of at some point
or 4 times.
That's right. So it's easier. Yeah.
So, oh my God, that was some good. We're trying to think of what's another one that got
the Scat Man. I'm the Scat Man.
Oh, what was the Night at the Roxbury one?
Oh, Night at the Roxbury was fuck.
Oh my gosh, I got the song stuck in my head. I just can't think of the name of it now. Shit, I'm drawing a blank. And I'm the
baby,
DJ.
Don't hurt me. Don't hurt
me no more. Yeah, that one. That one.
But that was huge. That was huge. There were a lot of, just a lot of dance. The 90s for dance was
the
huge.
90s as a whole. Like people always talk about the like the 80s and stuff, but the 90s you had some
good music in the 90s.
Oh man, between the grunge rock music of not just Nirvana, but I'm talking like Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, and then you had the late 90s run of Creed and Blink 182 started hitting the scene. So you had a mixture of punk rock music in there as well too. Then you had the dance music, you had the hip hop music of the 90s, and then you had the pop music. That's right. Look, you can laugh and say what you want about them, but these motherfuckers ruled for a few years. You had the Hanson Boys,
Backstreet Boys,
NSYNC,
98
Degrees, fucking Christina Aguilera, and Britney, and all
Spears. 100%.
So as much as like the 80s, it was a great decade. The 90s, from 90 to don't forget early 90s, Vanilla Ice, MC Hammer. Come on now, Ice Ice Baby,
Ice Ice Baby. What's that?
It was a good decade of music.
There's that
and
one.
Not even just the, and then you had like the early 90s, like R&B kind of upbeat tempo music.
Remember I Swear by All For One?
I Swear, All For One.
By the moon
what's the
and
one
the
that I'm thinking
stars
of?
in the sky. What's that? There's I Swear and there's Boys to Men. They were huge.
Oh yeah,
they were huge. Boys to Men was huge. Yeah. When Water Runs Dry, I think was one of their biggest song. Yeah, whenever I think of that stuff, of course, that's our high school. you know, that's high school for us. So
yeah, junior high, high school.
Junior high school. Yeah.
Junior high. Unbelievable. EMF. She's unbelievable.
Yeah. lot of stuff. There's I don't know what I was into everything. Well, I wasn't really into the grunge or the alternative, but I definitely was into.
Oh, I love that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people did. And I did not like it. I just
Baby Got Back.
Oh yeah, the Macarena.
Oh my God. Mambo number 5.
Oh, well, Mambo number 5 was at the very end of the decade. That was 99. And I remember that because the day that my dad was driving me from Ottawa to Welland, Ontario, which is just about 20 minutes outside of Niagara Falls. That's where I was going to college, where I was going to film school. The morning my dad was driving me, so this would have been like August of 99. That was all over the radio. Bump.
Remember this?
Bump. It's huge.
You remember that?
I can't hear anything. It's doing that thing again where I can't hear anything. Maybe it's just. Maybe it's no.
You can't hear it?
No.
Oh,
it's weird, isn't it? It's weird.
God,
yeah.
I hate it.
What is it? What's the song?
You should be able to hear it. The song is called "I Love Your Smile" by Shanice. As soon as you hear the melody, that's like early 90s.
Yes,
and you know how like the early 90s had that very similar sound to that type of R&B, they called it New Jack Swing music.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like the 90s it was a really
I'm
cool
curious
decade.
in the chat room, who was in high school between the years of in the 90s.
Junior high to high school.
Junior high to high school, between the years of, say, like 92 to 98, like in there, 92 to 98, 99, like that, you're in junior high school of that era. Who here would fit into that bracket? I don't want anybody who's like,
we're all stopping and we're collaborating and me and Dave will listen.
That's exactly it.
Because the ice is back with it.
Remember the Vanilla Ice song, What It's Like Having a Roni.
All I remember is Go Ninja,
Go
Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
Well, yeah,
Go
that's,
Ninja, Go Ninja.
Yeah. That's true.
Talk about a sequel shitting on an original. That original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie still holds up. That movie was dark. It was great. And then they came back with The Secret of the Ooze and it was like, what?
I love it. I love it.
Just happened.
We've got Rob Thidoff's class of 94. Nighttime was born in 98. Steve Evans is class of 93.
94, Rob? Me and Dave were in junior high.
I was, I was
freshman year of high school. Freshman year of high school.
Yeah. Because we were 15. So
that's right.
But still, I mean, the
class of 93. So that was the 90210 year.
Rob graduating in 94. So Rob would have been like what, 18 or 19 probably.
So yeah, his junior high years would have been late 80s and then his high school years would have been early 90s.
But the 5-year gap is we all like it's close enough in age that we're all growing up at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Pretty much.
And the same music. Like if there was like a 12 or 15 year gap,
then it's college. He's going into college and we're we're starting our ascent in high school. So yeah, the music is all the same and whatnot. And
Brooke Scarlett says class of 99. Akeem Patterson says class of 96. Subtle Bees 96. Jigsaw's 97. Love it. Yeah. Dave Vanderhoff is class of 23. I mean 86. 86. Sorry about that, Dave. No, it's like my brothers. I mean, my brothers would have been that, like that as well. I mean, my brothers would have been.
If you're the class of 86, you're borderline. I've always said the best years, if I had to pick a time other than what we had the early 90s into the late 90s run, I would have wanted to do what the kids of Stranger Things did. Do junior high, 82, 83-ish, and high school from 84 to 88. That would have been a fun run because when you're like a freshman in high school, man, you're getting all those slasher films that are coming out and the music of the 80s and everything. So to be able to experience that as a young junior high kid in the early 80s and then high school in that mid to late 80s run, graduate by like 1988, so basically reverse of what you and I did, right? Because you and I graduated in 98. So same thing, but set in the 80s.
should have graduated. Not should have, but I failed grade 4.
Well, yeah, I should have graduated in 97 too.
97, well. Yeah, exactly. We should have graduated in 97, but
I stayed back in 5th grade. They held me back in 5th grade.
Yeah, now they don't hold kids back anymore. They don't.
No, they sure shit don't.
No, they don't.
They don't. They will
don't.
Fucking find a way to move them along.
I don't know what it's like in the States, and obviously it varies from state to state and city to city.
We'll figure it out. Move them along.
Yeah,
That's basically.
But I know a few educators in my life that are like, yeah, we don't we're not allowed to fail kids anymore. It's like, really? So the fucking kid, we just got to pass them, man. Yeah, because all the fucking school boards care about is their graduation statistics. Look how many people graduated. 85% graduate, and yet you're fucking passing morons. Sorry, kids.
No, I mean, I wouldn't say morons, but
Sorry,
I will say
it
this.
Depends. I take that back. I take that back.
You better either make sure
some kids are morons, but not all of them.
If you're going to college, you better make sure it's something that you're going to get paid very well for when you graduate, because you're going to be stuck with a high ass fucking tuition that you're going to be paying for. Or your best bet now would be to develop a trait, a skill, get into some type of trade school, whether it's nursing or, there's all different types of trade schools out there, a profession where you're going to be paid, because even what I'm doing and what I've been fortunate enough to do, where I haven't had to had a real job, where I could be a DJ, when I could, do photography, it just the timing, you know what I mean? Right. I came in as a radio DJ in the early 2000s during the boom of the .com, which, they knew I was a photographer. So I was able to piggyback off of that, build a portfolio and all that stuff. Nowadays that shit ain't fucking happening. No. And if you walk out of a school with a liberal arts degree, I mean, it's basically useless paper. Honestly, it's useless fucking paper if you with any type of art degree, and because where are you going to go with it? What do you how are you going to what are you going to do to pay your bills? So you're better off either getting real fucking good at what you're doing and real creative, like creating content, for YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is, to make money off of that. That I will say you could use your art skills there, but you're going to need some type. You need some type of skill, which is definitely didn't have that back in the day.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, listen, this has been a good episode. We've hit the we
talked about everything.
2 hour mark.
We got deep, we got light, we talked about wrong turn, and we took a wrong turn. We took a wrong turn into
That's it.
Podcast.
But this has been a great show. Episode 195. I don't know if there's going to be another episode between now and the time that I go to camera on It's Me Billy Chapter 2. Possibly.
We probably won't see each other
till
December.
Probably until after. But you never know. You never know. But of course, thanks to the super chat questions that came in tonight. Of course, our great moderators, Frank Riker, Tapping the Short, Darren Sands, Chris Baber, Cody Snyder, and Andrew Stevens. Thank you for doing what you guys do. Really, really appreciate that.
I think Cody was the only one here.
He might have been, but I thank them anyway because they're the mods. They're the mods. Just jump into the comment section. Let us know your thoughts on anything we talked about here today. And Tony and I will be back soon at some point. Tony, any last things you want to say?
No, this was fun. I like podcasts. I like shows like this where we can talk a little horror and then just fucking get into whatever we feel like.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. It's good stuff. All right, folks, have a great rest of your, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you all soon. All righty. Cheers.